for some people, they just want the weight on the scale to have less value in their life. I think like, because like kind of like you said, you can get all these other wins. You're doing great. Like objectively doing like a great job. You're doing, and then you step on the scale. It's either not as low as you want it to be, or it's higher. And then you feel like, well, what was all of this for? And for me, just removing the listen, like we're not going to do weigh-ins at all. Like it's just not going to talk about it. I'm never going to mention anything about aesthetics or like what people look like. Honestly, I think it's weird as a healthcare professional for me to like comment on my clients' bodies. It happens in personal training, but it's like very weird. Like to me, it's like very odd, and would not be okay. And
when you think about it, like, yeah, like when you think about how, like, when you just back up and you're like, what's actually happening here on the surface, and you pick it apart, it is odd. Like, it kind of is. Like when you look, it's a norm in society, but when you look at it with that critical lens, you're just like, what's the point of this? What is this doing?
it always felt like inappropriate to me, the idea that I would like comment anything really, like positively, negatively about who I'm working with. It's just like this is not like that. It didn't seem okay with me. Like, and so um but it happens in personal training because a lot of personal training stuff is very like aesthetics focused, so often there's conversations about that. um I'll never do it. I just think I know it's just too uncomfortable for me. I would say it's like inappropriate, and like there's no other help. Like if your chiropractor commented on your body, it would be inappropriate. You know what I mean? Like, so I don't know why personal trainers get the pass on that one. Um, yeah, it's odd. It's awkward. Yeah.
So when you have clients that you work with, and either they are upfront aligned with that approach, and then maybe they're battling with things in the back of their minds due to what they've experienced in the past, or they come to you and are open to a weight neutral approach, but they're still challenging you with, oh, aren't we going to do weigh-ins? Like, isn't this the thing we're going to do? How do you handle those conversations with people? Because you're kind of battling with societal norm in a way, and you're also the things that people may have done in the past or are used to. I mean, it's going to come up at some point. So how do you navigate that conversation with people?
Yeah, there's definitely a few ways of doing that. So one, I think just like being upfront with my approach is good. Like if someone works with me, I have a conversation with them and I'm like, hey, just so you know, like this is my approach. Like there are no weigh-ins at any point. Like there are no, and so they kind of know like there's not like a secret weigh-in happening, 3 months from now or anything along those lines, and they kind of know what I'm about. So that helps a lot. I think as well as that like people who work with me, it's not like you're going to work with me and then a month later not care. I'm kind of like a stepping stone to that process. And what I try and do is like, well, let's talk about your other wins and make them the sole priority. So if I notice that you're lifting more weight than you were before, I'm going to bring that. It's like, hey, like you're noticeably stronger than we started. Like that's awesome. They will come to me and say like, hey, like I used to not be able to bring all my groceries in at once. Now I can, and it actually is easy. So like we celebrate those wins. And I think really prioritizing the non-scale victories, I think as most people would see them, goes a long way, because it's being like, oh yeah, like I don't, what do I weigh? I don't even know, but like I'm doing better in the gym. I'm more comfortable in the gym. I'm like clearly getting stronger. I couldn't do pull-ups before. Now I can. That's pretty cool. And I think, which is also why there are some weight neutral trainers who they don't have a focus after their focus is kind of like not weight loss is like how I would describe it. The reason that I advocate for strength at the same time is because when people don't focus on weight loss anymore, sometimes that's the reason they never go back to the gym, because that was their primary focus. That was their like, I was there for weight loss, and it's like, okay, now I'm not about weight loss, but now I have no reason to go. And that's not great either. And so why I advocate for switching to strength training is because we need a new reason to go. We need like, now I'm not doing these dumbbell rows to tone my arms. Now I'm doing these dumbbell rows because I want to have a strong back. That's kind of the reason. So now we have a reason to get back in there, because I want people to focus less on the weight on the scale. But I also still want people to exercise. Like I still want people to train regularly. And so I think it's important to, if we're not going to talk about weight, we got to talk about something else. Like that's yeah. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Yeah, you got to find a different purpose. If the original purpose for whatever reason in whatever flavor it was around weight or appearance or aesthetic or body composition or whatever, and you take that away, and it kind of sounds sharp is take it away, but if that purpose is not driving the why behind why you're doing it, and there's nothing, and you don't think about, well, what else is there, and you just go into the journey hoping that you'll run into it, that might not happen, and then you just lost all steam and momentum, and then you're not going to have it, so you're not going to have a desire to continue it. So if you intentionally replace it from the get-go or as early as you can, then you can build on that new purpose, that new why you're doing this. And I would imagine it would kind of snowball in a way, because then you can build on it from there, as opposed to it just kind of hoping to happen. And I mean, not having a plan, or not having a purpose or an intent. I mean, you can apply that to literally anything that we would do as humans, and it just doesn't go anywhere.